I was 67 years old the day I finally admitted something I'd been hiding for years. I was stuck. I had a job that I didn't love, a life that was happening to me, not being built by me, and a quiet voice in my head kept asking, is this really it? That question scared me more than the thought of failing because if this was it, I wasn't sure I could live with that. That's the real reason I started. Not because I wanted to be a YouTuber, not because I wanted a hobby, but because I realized that at age 67, I was still waiting for permission to live the life that I actually wanted. Now, I want to tell you about the day it clicked, not the day I hit record, because that happened 7 months later. I'm talking about the day the question first grabbed me, the day that it wouldn't let go. I was actually sitting in a hotel room. I had workers at the house. They had found some problems with my flooring and they were tearing all of the tile out completely and replacing it. And we had been there for 3 days already. And I had been off the phones. I took the time off of work. It's my first vacation in years, actually. But I realized I was joyful that I wasn't doing it. And that's when I really realized how meaningless my job was. Working for somebody else, a small cog in a big wheel, really not making much of a difference in the big picture of life, and certainly not doing anything to create a life for myself. And I really needed that. I needed something that I could do that was all my own. So finally, when I realized that I needed to start over and I just couldn't wait, and that's when I started thinking about really doing something different. Now, it wasn't a dramatic start for me. It wasn't one of those movie moments where you're like, oh, yeah, instantaneous. There it is right in front of me. It wasn't at all like that. It was more of a thought that started. And then once I started thinking it, I couldn't unthink it. It was a question that once I really asked it, I can't go back. And that led me to this point. How in the world can I start over after age 50? Now, I already told you it took 7 months for me to decide that I was going to do this and actually hit the record button for the first time. But what I didn't really share was what I had been doing during those 7 months. For example, I spent 3 weeks alone researching what camera to use, which, by the way, is a camera that I didn't hit and that I was afraid to hit record for. I rewrote my channel description 14 times at least. I know I counted 14 anyway. I told my wife at least 10 times that, quote, next week I would start recording something. Well, those 10 weeks turned into 7 months of planning. But in truth, I wasn't really researching. I was hiding. I kept thinking that if I just do a little bit more, if I just plan a little bit more, I'll be ready. But then I realized a lot of people who are saying that they're planning are doing the same thing. They're hiding. They're masking what the actual problem is. Even though planning feels like progress, it's not the same thing as doing. So here's what I wish someone had told me. You don't need a plan. You just need to start. Plans change, but starting is real. So that's when I realized I was just afraid. But what was I actually afraid of? I wasn't afraid of the camera. I wasn't afraid of the microphone. I certainly wasn't afraid of the lighting or the other technology that was needed. It was, what if I do this and nobody cares? That's the real fear, not failure, not embarrassment, not even irrelevance. It's the fear that you'll finally be honest about what you want and the world will shrug. Also, this hits differently after age 50. When you're 25 and you start something up, all you hear is people telling you, go get 'em. But when you're after 50, the voice in your head says, isn't it a little late for this? And here's what I've learned. That voice, it's a liar. But you have to prove it's a liar by moving forward anyway. Now, why am I sharing this? Because I know I'm not the only one who's had this conversation in their own head. If you're someone who's been telling yourself it's too late or that you'll start someday, I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below and just tell me, what's the thing that you've been putting off? No judgment. I put it off for 7 months, so you're in good company. Now, here's the thing nobody tells you. Nobody tells you that when you do this after the age of 50, that there isn't just something magical that's going to happen. You're going to have to leave things behind. And the goal is to leave behind the bad. But truthfully, you don't leave behind just the bad. You also leave behind some comfortable stuff too. Comfortable in the way your life is. Comfortable that you thought the plan that you already had was the right thing to do. You leave your old identity and you change, but that change is a cathartic. It releases you. It makes you feel alive again. Mostly, it tells you that the person that you thought you were, or the one that you were afraid that you were, is not who you are. Now, when I told people I was starting a YouTube channel at age 67, some of them looked at me like I told them I was going to go run off and join the circus. And the truth is, that bothered me. Well, for a while anyway. But what I realized is that other people's doubt is nothing more than their own fear projected onto me. But it doesn't matter. All that matters is how you feel. Now, I want to tell you something, and this still surprises me. I've already put out 2 videos, and the fear has changed shape. It's no longer about, will anyone watch? Now it's about, what can I make next? And that's a totally different question. That's a creator's question, not a spectator's question. So something shifts inside of you when you stop planning and you start doing. You stop being someone who wants to start over and you become someone who is starting over. It may be a small distinction, but it really changes everything. So why am I telling you this? Why did I start at 67 instead of waiting until I felt ready? Because I finally understood something. The only thing worse than starting late is never starting at all. So if you're watching this and you're age 50, 60, or 70 even, or older, it doesn't matter, any age, and you've got that question in your head, is this all there is? I want you to know that question isn't a crisis. It's an invitation. Starting over after 50 isn't crazy. Now that I'm 68, it's the best decision I've ever made. And I'm not even good at this yet. And that's the whole point. Well, my name is Steve, and this is Never Too Late to Create. If this has resonated with you, please hit the like button, subscribe, and come along with the journey with me. We're just getting started. And if you have any questions, email me at the link below or just drop a comment. I promise I will respond personally. Your questions will help shape future episodes. If you're new here, my name is Steve, and at age 68, I'm learning YouTube step by step, in public, mistakes and all, because starting over at 50 helps create a new life, and it's never too late to create. Subscribe to follow.